fucking demographics, but you can't turn the clock back on the identities that have been formed. We are those people now, and to repress it is to fatally alienate huge chunks of the population from any communal project, which a non-capitalist government would have to be.
Also, another thing I would really like guys like this to I think they should have to explicate like a lot more clearly what exactly they think is wrong with being gay or homosexual acts themselves. Because I mean, if you go down further in the post, he just says, "Well, I'm a conservative Christian, and I think that they're, human beings are naturally ordered to certain behaviors, and unnatural behaviors makes us, sad and miserable, and like that's why they're prescribed by God or whatever." But like, I mean, if these acts are so unnatural, how come they're so common in all of history and human civilization?
Yeah, seems like one of the most natural things for people to do.
Right, but once again, as a occasional, indulgence, or as a parallel structure, not as a thing that is validated by the society.
Like, getting an organ transplant is pretty unnatural too. But I mean, are you going to turn it down if you need a new kidney?
I mean, this always breaks down because that's why they always have to end up arguing about things either very they either have to make very thin metaphysical arguments, like it somehow it reduces the strength of straight relationships, or the idea that it literally spreads through recruitment, and you have to make an argument that it somehow undermines conventional relationships like straight relationships, and every argument to do that is very very.
I mean, the previous classical model, it didn't exactly uphold heterosexual relationships. I mean, that was the standard, but it was very clear that like your wife or husband was just like assigned to you. Like that was your function to society.
Well, that's the other
but all of your actual like romantic and creative and like imaginative flights of fantasy and trysts, or just like creativity, come from outside the marriage and family unit.
Well, that's
the highest love that you could have for another person would be someone of your own sex. Whether that was sexualized or not is another question. I mean, sometimes it was, sometimes it wasn't. But it wasn't like guys who freaking love their wife didn't exist until about 1985.
Yeah,
I mean, it is a relatively modern moment, but even more so than the fact that romantic love between men and women is a relatively recent innovation of like the early modern era, the Renaissance and stuff. The other thing these guys are fetishizing about conventional relationships, the nuclear family, is a complete product of fucking like modern capitalism. That is a absolutely modern artifact. Like those social relationships are as tied into capitalism and as tied into every godless march away from the sacred that these guys have been bemoaning since 1789 as homosexual identity. It is as much a modern a social artifact, and so they want one. They want to keep one that they have turned eternal and elevated, and they want to get rid of another because they're operating just from a sense of what they're horrified by and what they fetishize that is entirely generated by their specific array of fucking repressions and like, psychological like pathologies, not any clear-eyed analysis of like the state of the political economy.
But like back to the point I made about like the sort of split between Europe and America as it regards masculinity. I mean, I think the other thing that's going on here is like he's bemoaning the fact that a lot of these things that were traditionally regarded as being normal and masculine are now coded in our modern context, which, let's be honest, only means in American context because like we create culture for the world and like we set the standard for everyone else, are coded now as being fruity. And I think that these guys are upset that like their natural setting, which is soft and a little bit theatrical, is coded as being kind of being a swish now.
Yeah.
And like they want to go back to a time when like, like that was, you could, there was no difference between being a cowboy and being a Montaigne, a poet who writes,
yeah, like the Three Musketeers were like the butchest dudes on earth, and they just wore cravats and long ringlets and scented handkerchiefs in their fucking sleeve collars.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to read like the whole thing. He goes on for a long time on this thread, as you might imagine. But he continues. He says, "Why will I die on this hill? I'm going to do something incredibly stupid and actually expose some vulnerability to the pack of hyenas on this hell site." I mean, again, it's just, this is not traditionally masculine behavior to me, but that's because like I'm in an American context and I'm in a modern context that men talking about the hell site and normal world and being gaslit by popular culture is like not something I stereotypically associate with heterosexual men, but perhaps in a more classical context that wouldn't be the case. So Peg continues here. He writes, ha ha ha, you have no friends, loser. Well, not only do I have friends, but not all of them are internet anons, so there. But K through 12, I was 3 years younger than everyone else in my class, so that made making friends difficult. And yes, I was bullied. But thankfully, unlike libs who act out their trauma by trying to recreate their bullying at the level of politics, I grew out of my loser nerd past in the immortal words of the great Justice Brett Kavanaugh, lifting weights, drinking beer, and hanging out. In any case, typically, in whatever year I was in, I had one friend, and so I invested in this friendship with a lot of meaning and intensity. And since I was a nerd, I was, yes, inspired by some of the great friendships of classical literature, including, yes, the Iliad. Some ancient writers speculated about the Achilles-Patroclus relationship, but Homer himself never says or implies anything that's not projected by the reader. But also the great stories of the knights of the Chansons de Geste and others. When I eventually found out that some of those scholars asserted those relationships were gay, I felt like an incredible violation. I knew it had to be false because I knew that the way that they described those relationships described my relationships, and I knew they weren't gay. It's intrinsically debasing to suggest that someone's friendship is based on solid motive, whatever it is. And just to be clear, I'm describing experiences that happened before puberty, so please no talk of sublimated or repressed homosexual attraction. I grew up in a household where sex was openly discussed, so I was aware of homosexuality as a concept, but it had about as much relevance to me personally as the rings of Neptune. The point is that I know what it's like to experience this kind of pure, intense male friendship, and I know that it's different from sexual or romantic interest, and I know that it is the same thing as the great classical friendships. It's just incredibly destructive for the discourse to point out at these examples and go wink, wink, nudge, nudge, say no more on top of ignorant and stupid, of course. Hey, look, I'm a Christian conservative. I believe that human beings are naturally ordered towards certain kinds of relationships, that engaging in homosexual conduct is intrinsically unhealthy, and that society shouldn't encourage it. Today, some people find this view not only shocking, but fundamentally unfathomable, incomprehensible. That's fine. I find the contemporary live your truth ethos of the self-creating, rootless, atomistic individual both laughably absurd and horribly crude. Anyway, the I'm not crying virulence and stupidity of the replies has confirmed for me that we need more critiques of the consequences of the normalization of homosexuality. Thank you for attending my TED Talk. So there he goes. I think he doesn't want to be called queer. I mean, I think he just doesn't want people making fun of him for his, in today's society, very gay-coded behavior.
He wants to be able to wear a cape in public. That's it.
I do.
He should have just written a thing about why can men no longer why are young men no longer dressed in velvet culottes and stockings the way they were in the Victorian era? That's all he wants.
Why aren't we dressing boys as girls until they're 8?
Yeah.
But they did that all the time in Victorian society.
He wants
it wasn't
to be
gay.
able to be a little bit publicly fabulous without feeling self-conscious about it.
I think that's it. I think he wants just to be like a little bit flamboyant, and I don't mean this in a gay way. I'm not saying that he's a closet case or whatever. I just think like maybe it is a tragedy that like people have this internal censor in their head if they're heterosexual about being a little allergic to swag.
Well, like being
a little allergic to feelings.
They should take all the money out of the F-35 program and have a completely ceremonial branch of the military that's like the cavalry, where you can do this and like have a silk pistol holder and all that shit. Yeah. Like that would be positive. I want to go back to a real man. I have a good Eric Adams thing to close this out. What's the best concert you've ever been to? Curtis Mayfield at Wingate Concert Series. At that concert, there was a rainstorm, and the lights fell on Curtis Mayfield, and they actually paralyzed him at that concert. He died a few years ago, but it was an amazing concert before that happened. Just so unfortunate.
What? The best concert he ever saw was one that was rained out and where Curtis Mayfield was put in the
got
hospital.
paralyzed.
Where was paralyzed by falling lights?
Killed Curtis Mayfield. It's like if someone.
Well, he didn't die, but he was literally paralyzed for life after that.
That's like literally. How is the play other than that, Mrs. Lincoln? But she responds
my favorite live music experience, Great White.
yeah.
It was the Rolling Stones set at Altamont.
Yeah.
They also asked him about Israel because he's going to be New York's mayor and how he's going to advocate for it. And he said, I visited Israel twice. I'm going back again, and I'm going to try to find a plot of land so it can be my retirement place. I love the people of Israel, the food, the culture, the dance, everything about Israel.
Okay.
And they ask him, where in Israel do you plan on retiring? And he says, in the Golan Heights.
Oh my God.
Holy shit.
Fuck. Okay, he's going to be mayor.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
going to be mayor.
Don't vote for him, but he's going to win tomorrow. Sorry.
Don't vote for him, but that's it. You know what? He didn't even think that before. He was like, "Oh fuck, Israel! I'm going to retire in Golan Heights."
Yeah.
I love the number one controversy that has dogged Eric Adams in this mayoral race is the fact that he lives in New Jersey, and then he's just like, "Yeah, I'm going to move to the Golan Heights.
Yeah,
I'm going to buy property there and move there.
He's going to be a settler. He's
by the way,
amazing.
I would love to see how the warm embrace that Eric Adams and his family will receive among fellow Israeli settlers in the Golan Heights. They'll love him.
It'll be great. They'll be so nice to him. They'll
give him so many vegan pizza meals that he can enjoy.
Well, he's I don't want him to win, but it's he's such a completely fucked up person that it's I kind of think he is going to win.
He's the Biden of the race in every respect.
I mean, if our national politics holds the form at a local level, I mean, Eric Adams has got this sewn up. I mean, I hate to say it.
Yeah, my favorite concert was when Curtis Mayfield got paralyzed. Before he got paralyzed, of course. What a great interview. I mean, I don't like his policies, but just he has the right personality to be yelled at all the time.
Well, he does, because they asked him about how he's feeling about being up in the polls, and he said, not happy, not sad. The man with the wax wings flew just enough. Not too close to the sun, not too close to the water. Steady.
What the fuck are you talking about?
No, that's the opposite of what happened in that story.
At all.
I think he's imagining, he probably heard that story and then just thought, well, if I had wax wings.
Okay, if I was Icarus, I would have just stayed at exactly the right altitude so that the wax wouldn't melt.
Yep.
Again, he sucks. Pretty much everyone else running for mayor sucks.
The job is just to take the orders of the cops and real estate. What else are you supposed to do? Tank.
I wish I could vote for DeBungalow for a third term.
Honestly, yes. They should do the Bloomberg thing for him. Give him another term.
Yeah, sorry,
He's finally having fun after eight fucking years, because he realized the thing that every New York mayor should know going in: you will never get another fucking position. You will never win another election after you're New York City mayor, and you should just accept that and then have fun with it.
Look, DeBungalow beat the Trump virus. No ifs, ands, or buts. And he beat it for the entire East Coast. DeBungalow is my mayor.
There'll be statues of him soon.
Yeah. No, he's a guy who's not really going to get appreciated, but by history.
Yes, history will redeem him.
Yeah, I will be DeBungalow's
just like Castro.
Plutarch.
It will be resolved by history.
Yeah.
Well, that does it for today's episode, guys. Ask not who the baseball cranks for.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.
I am the very model of a modern Major General. I've information, vegetable, animal, and mineral. I know the kings of England and Dakota the fights historical, from Marathon to Waterloo in order categorical. I am very well acquainted too with matters mathematical. I understand equations both the simple and quadratical. About polynomial theorem I am teeming with a lot of news. With many cheerful facts about the square of the hypotenuse. I am very good at integral and differential calculus. I know the scientific names of beings and animalculous. In short, in matters vegetable, animal, and mineral, I am the very model of a modern Major General.
The presidents. Who are they? What did they want? What did they do? Are they good guys or bad guys? Why the hell should I care? I'm driving to work or resurfacing my deck or like eating a hamburger right now. Quit asking me questions about the U.S. presidents. Why don't you nerds get a life?
These are all great questions.
I'm Chris Wade, producer of Chapo Trap House.
I'm Matt Chrisman, host of Chapo Trap House.
And we're here to sell you on our new podcast, Hell of Presidents, a history of the United States told through the office of the U.S. president.
If you're an American or any of the people around the world who live under the boot of our imperial dominion,
what actual privilege
all
looks
right,
like.
here's some.
Ooh, this is going to be a good one. This is going to be a spicy one, boys. Buckle the fuck up because I'm going to go on and defend petty crime again. Are you guys ready for this?
So before we get to Walgreens, which everyone is talking about, this happened Monday, but I don't think the footage was really out there until yesterday. I'm warning you guys, this man gets shot, a security guard, but he lives. You don't see him get shot in the video, but you do see the lead up. So I still, if you have children around, I wouldn't have them watch this. Lenox Mall in Atlanta, I guess it used to be one of the better malls, shot in the chest, point blank.
So I'm confused by this. Like, is he gonna say that like people are defending someone who shot another person in the chest? Because I 100% don't think that that is an acceptable thing to do. I think that's ridiculous. But what's going on here? Hold on, I don't want to show this. So these dudes have like guns and they're pointing it at the guy. Here's the thing, guys. Some may not know this about me, but I'm anti-murder. So there's that. That's a thing I believe. I'm an anti-murder kind of guy. Unpopular opinion, but I think murder is bad. Okay, doesn't really matter who's doing it. It's bad. Okay, let's see it.
The story says they were demanding his Apple Store card.
I think you have to call.
And
Steven Crowder and others like him love using like solved cases where like a black person has committed a crime, which happens all the time, just like white people also do murder all the time, as like a reason to justify the racial agitprop that they're about to engage in. Okay, the main difference here always is accountability, and I need you to understand this. The main difference here is not saying that like, oh well, this black person did a murder, so we need to police all blacks. Like, that is a psychotic and racist approach. Just like we always say, or at least laugh about people saying like, kill all men, men are scum, or even ban people that say like, kill all white men, which now a bunch of people are going to say and get banned subsequently. Because what? Like, the overwhelming majority of pedophiles are white men? The overwhelming majority of serial killers are white men? You don't fucking decide that like all white men are bad then.
for people listening, it's very clear the security guard does not want to get violent. He's trying to avoid confrontation. Two people cornering him with a firearm. He's backing up. And finally, you don't see it, but yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you actually don't
That's
see it,
what
but they shot him.
the man, no, he lived.
No, good.
He's still alive, from what I understand. Hey, can I say at this point? Can I say overweight hood rat bitch when she shoots someone with a gun who is innocently trying to be nonviolent? Can I call that woman a bitch? I just want to make sure that's not a violation of YouTube guidelines. That's a question. Calling someone. Hey, can we say that woman? Can I say she's acting bitchy?
Well, that's
Bitch-ish?
Blowing a hole.
Hey, why didn't he continue with the hood rat? Why did he just go into the bitch one? What's up? I didn't realize when you when like a black person commits a crime that gives you, everybody knows you can just say the N-word. Why didn't he just say that? I wonder. People don't give a fuck about calling a murderer a bitch. Pretty sure it's the hood rat part that probably people will get upset about, and not because like that person is a bad person, because he is. But when you're like, oh, that's a hood rat, you're, you know, saying that this is how black people are, because that's what it's historically been used and associated with. Yeah, that's not about that individual that you're like yelling at. Same mentality as the N-word, by the way. I hope that those people were immediately caught and they're in jail. I doubt that if they were caught, I don't know the details of this case because I don't look into like every single instance where a black person shot a white person. The reason why that kind of stuff doesn't get a lot of coverage is because justice will be served in that circumstance if it hasn't been yet. That's the difference.
And this is not an isolated incident. This happened, by the way, Atlanta Zone 2. So I looked up some police stats from there. Murders have increased 17% since last year.
Jeez.
Shootings 26%, but here's the kicker. They increased from 2019 to 2020, 133% murders, and shootings 164%. So total, you're looking at about 150 and 180 something respectively since the riots have started.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
The riots. Yeah, the riots are the reason.
2020 was horrible for most places. I can't believe they are out doing that now.
Really?
I can't
still
because I
going,
thought
yeah.
2020 would be the worst.
Oh my gosh, it's like a pinball machine. They're trying to hit the high score.
I know.
Well, it's almost like they got away with stuff for so long they just kept doing it because it actually has nothing to do with the cause.
Dave,
Yeah.
that's logical. Stop it.
And it's almost as though there are no...
Can you explain some chatter saying COVID made me kill? Crime, violent crime, non-violent crime, occurs as a consequence of socioeconomic conditions. This is like sociology 101. It's a concept that like the ancient Greeks understood. So I think that we should probably also recognize that at this point, it is like literally as old as time itself. It's something that like dudes who thought the sun could be like a light bulb literally understood, like, you know, when people don't have access to stuff, they do things to, you know, to better their social conditions or their material conditions. So that's what I'm saying. When you see a rise in crime rates, that usually directly corresponds to material conditions. Okay? Crime goes up if there are more poor people. Yes, the lawless land of yours, Canadian Crowder, by the way. The U.S. is a big police, literally have tanks and budgets. Yeah. The other thing that I also have to acknowledge is like, if crime rates corresponded to like police budgets and police budgets going down increase crime, then we should have seen police budgets go down. But police budgets did not go down. Police budgets went up. All around the country, there is this Republican narrative that like, police budgets have gone down and crime has risen. Where, motherfucker? Where have the police budgets gone down? At most, they didn't do the actual increases that they were slated to, but police budgets still are ballooning significantly higher than anything else. So that is a lie that Republicans tell routinely.
This goes to what happened yesterday, which has gone viral. So that's an extreme example.
Yeah.
And this is another example. People don't know this. Anything under $950 in San Francisco that you steal is no longer, basically they can't do anything.
Oh, I'll be back.
Right.
Yeah. Are you serious?
Free reign.
Yes. So these people shot, that guy, that security guard was shot by two people. And then here, two Walgreens security guards in San Francisco. Just watch as a man with a bicycle inside a Walgreens
Yeah.
takes stuff. So you think...
Okay, so the previous case is like a violent crime and completely unacceptable. Those 15 to 16-year-olds were caught and they're going to get punished for it, which is good. It's a good thing. Now, the case that he's going to is one that we are already familiar with, which is in San Francisco. A dude on a bike is stealing shampoo from a Walgreens in San Francisco, which decriminalized petty theft under $900. Now, I need you to identify what the connective tissue is in both of these cases. What do you think is the reason why he started off the conversation with like a murder and is now moving on to this other instance?
You think someone comes in with sticky hands on a bicycle, you might say, oh, something's going on here. Might be on alert.
Better let him finish.
Nothing crossed their mind, as you can hear by the conversation. Here you go, San Francisco.
I wonder what the reason was for Steven Crowder to tie in these two completely unrelated incidents. One of a violent murder in cold blood in Atlanta or in Georgia. I wonder what the reason why he's talking about a shampoo bandit. Wait, let me look at the title real quick. Maybe that allowing crime based on race, what actual privilege looks like. It is truly remarkable that this is allowed on YouTube. Like, I mean, this is just like the most ridiculous racist propaganda I've seen. It's insane. It's preposterous. It's wild that this is like, I mean, this is just white supremacist, anti-black rhetoric. Unless Steven Crowder thinks that like petty thefts in, for example, San Francisco are not being done by white people and it's an exclusively black thing. Just wear a Klan robe, dog. At this point, just literally just wear a Klan robe, you know, burn a cross. I mean, you're doing that. You're too much of a pussy to admit it, but that's kind of what you're doing. Not even kind of. That's literally what you're doing. You're just like worried that if you use the right words, that you'll get targeted This is also straight up like what your fucking grandparents watch or watched on AM radio, listened to on AM radio, and watched on Fox News for years. This is the exact same racial agitprop that made your grandparents even more racist than they actually were. Because they got those email chains about like, here's a black man murdering a white lady. This is why we need cops to violently suppress all blacks. This is what Steven Crowder is doing here.
He's stealing hair color?
The weakest thing ever.
Stop it.
Look, he's not even in a rush with the automatic door.
No. Oh wait.
Unbelievable.
I've been more frustrated, you know, more rushed. There's more of a sense of urgency when I get an angry text from my pregnant wife.
Yeah.
Like, stupid Walgreens door. This guy's just like, wait for it, it'll open.
The most ironic thing is he brought his bike in because he's afraid someone might steal it.
Yeah, you can't just leave it outside.
And this is something too that's interesting. You know, New Jersey was just voted, or it was just named best state to live in.
Oh my God. Who did they
And I thought the headlines write themselves. But think about this for a second. This is what happens in New Jersey. In New Jersey, you can actually be sued by someone who breaks into your house. People say, well, because New Jersey has castle doctrine. No, you also have a duty to retreat. So in other words, unless you can prove that there was no back door, if you trip a guy in your house, you could be sued. We are now in an environment, like in San Francisco, where criminals are encouraged and law-abiding citizens are discouraged from taking part in society. They're fearful.
Yeah.
They are afraid. And
wait, what the fuck? I'm confused. Like, does he think that duty to retreat implies that like someone who is like violently breaking into your house and trying to murder you, if you shoot them, you're gonna get in trouble? Like, it's what the fuck? Also, I'm so confused. Like, he just jumped from these two black teenagers trying to murder a security guard to another black teenager in San Francisco stealing a bunch of shampoo, and then jumped back to New Jersey and duty to retreat. Like, none of it actually makes sense at all.
This is, of course, true. You see that I was surprised that I don't know. Twitter obviously has their thumb on the button. You could at least try and make the left look good, because when Walgreens was trending, immediately leftists rushed to the defense of these people. So let me read you some of these.
If you're concerned about looting, I've got some news for you. It's true. Organized crime, one dude in a bicycle shoplifting from Walgreens. The real organized crime preventing people from getting their medicine is the pharmaceutical industry.
These criminal if victim shaming is a thing.
Oh yeah.
Perpetrator.
Who's the victim here? Walgreens? Why are you defending Walgreens? This is what I don't understand. Like, what are you doing? I thought you hated Walgreens because they, like, I don't know, throw up the gay flag or something for pride. All of a sudden, you're Mr. Walgreens defender? I thought corporations, like billionaires and corporations, were bad because they are tolerant, aesthetically tolerant to the gays and the blacks. What happened? Now you're Mr. Corporation Defender? I thought you were the populist here.
You're praising is a thing.
Yes, definitely.
So one guy wrote, organized crime equals one dude on a bicycle shoplifting from Walgreens. The real organized crime, preventing people from getting their medicine, is the pharmaceutical industry. Yeah, I'm sure he was picking up his ivermectin.
The irony is, like, Walgreens isn't even trying to get you to fucking defend them. Because, like, shoplifting, whether it's done by people who already work there or done by the fucking customers, like random people or whatever, is already built in to their budget. Like, Walgreens does not give a shit about shampoo being stolen. You can say you're a little bit brain dead all you fucking want. It's so stupid. For the record, all of their employees are trained not to fucking touch the shoplifter, because they would get into significantly more trouble if one of their fucking $10 an hour cashiers actually tried to be a hero in that situation and, got injured. It's not worth. It's just literally not fucking worth. De-escalate the stolen goods is probably just accounts already written as a write-off. It is. It is. Banks tell tellers not to fucking touch robbers. These chains tell you to fucking not touch someone who's stealing shit. It's not worth it. It's literally not worth it. Why do you advocate for theft in any form? Well, there's a couple different kinds of theft that I think is, like, totally fucking fine, which is piracy, okay? For example, I think piracy is fine. And you do too. There's not a single person in this 37,195 viewer chat that hasn't stolen some form of intellectual property. Now, people will turn around and say piracy ain't theft. It's fucking theft to the publishers, motherfucker. Yeah, explain that to the to the multi-billion-dollar movie industry and the music industry, because I'm pretty sure they think it's theft. And I don't mean like fucking what the Somalian pirates are doing, especially if you don't have the means to buy this shit, which is part of the reason why I tell you, like, you know, use a fucking ad blocker or a VPN. Like, don't be stupid. If you don't have money to fucking subscribe, you don't want to see the ads. Like, literally, I tell you once at the top of every hour what to do. IP can be infinitely replicated, products can't. It doesn't matter, because the people have designated that intellectual property as their own, and you're still taking it from them without monetary compensation. It's still theft. You can try to do mental gymnastics. It's theft to them. The replication doesn't change anything. Like, it literally doesn't change anything. Okay? Now, the reason why I have this position is because this is a victimless crime. And I think that it's not that significant of an overall problem for the victimless crime that's happening here. Now, here's the real problem here. What we must do is examine why someone is so down cataclysmic that they're fucking resorting to stealing a duffel bag full of fucking shampoo to resell. That's the real problem. But no one wants to address that. And instead, they come up with these moronic fucking solutions, which, by the way, I don't have an issue with at all. As far as like decriminalizing petty theft, I don't have a problem with that. I think that that's still ultimately not the worst situation at all. I think that we should be decriminalizing shit like this, but we also need to solve the underlying material conditions that lead people to running into a fucking Walgreens and stealing shampoo so they can resell it, if that is what they're gonna do. So that's why I don't stress over that. And if you were to change my perspective or, you know, distort what I'm saying here and be like, well, how would you feel if someone came into your house and like put a gun to your head? It's like, that's not what happened here. Like, a home invasion is not justifiable. How would you feel if they stole your car? It's not the same. A car is significantly more important to me as an individual than $100 worth of shampoo bottles is to Walgreens. Do you understand? And you can't compare piracy to stealing something physical? Dude, the only difference between piracy on the internet versus like literally going to a store when such things existed and stealing the fucking CD is that it's easier to do on your computer. That's it. Okay? Shut the fuck up. I hate this like justification, which I don't even have a fucking problem with. Wrong. Privacy doesn't deprive anyone of their property. Deprive Walgreens of the property that they were going to sell that they've already accounted as a loss. It's going to be replaced. They're not causing a shortage of shampoos anywhere, motherfucker. That's the point. That's why it's innocuous in comparison to like larger thefts that occur daily on a daily basis. How do you not see it? The irony is Walgreens had to pay $4.5 million last year in a class action lawsuit back to their employees for wage theft. So that's the real fucking theft. Wage theft is significant, rampant, and also most people don't even recognize that it occurs. The irony is you poor, dumb worker motherfuckers arguing with me and others and amongst yourselves functionally defending Walgreens when Walgreens is just stealing the fuck out of your surplus value, your labor that you have generated profits for them with, and you hyper focus on the poor fuck that literally stole shampoo that no one is going to remember so that he could fucking make a living himself. Also, the bullshit is victimless. This is one of the best arguments I've seen. Best arguments because it's laughable. Shoplifting is not the reason why retailers are closing. It's what the retailer is saying is the reason why they're closing, when in fact they're closing all around because it's no longer as profitable for them. Not as a consequence of shoplifting, but in general. So again, you're a fucking idiot if you, and a dupe, if this is what you truly believe in. That's one. If you're upset about brick and mortar stores like this closing, then you should reshift your focus onto online shopping absolutely dominating this shit. Not fucking petty theft happening in San Francisco, or how insane property value is in San Francisco, rendering it useless to have a store like this and maintain this property. How do you know it's that reason and not what they're saying? Because they're closing stores all around the country and in higher percentages in other places. You got any proof of that, homie? Or you're just gonna spit straight lies? Straight lies with respect to what? Like that I'm not taking the fucking corporate spokesperson's rhetoric for this hook, line, and sinker, and instead talking about how it's no longer profitable, not because of the fucking string of petty thefts that are occurring, but instead because they already are like not as profitable as a consequence of fucking online shopping exploding during COVID with Instacart and Uber Eats and Postmates delivery, making it easier to just like, and Amazon specifically, Amazon Fresh, making it significantly easier to fucking deliver and to your home, and DoorDash too. Forgot to mention DoorDash, Grubhub. Second quarter revenue rose 4.8% to 32.8 billion, but missed analysis average estimate of 35.53 billion. Net income attributable to Walgreens rose by 1 billion or $1.19 per share in the second quarter. There you have it, dude. Their profits are not increasing in the same way that they predicted. So they're restructuring. Theft is so bad in the Walgreens in the area that only Walgreens is closing and not CVS. You know, it's just that these criminals they specifically hate Walgreens, and that's why they're targeting Walgreens, and that's why only the Walgreens are closing. Why would they make a bold statement? Because who the fuck would question it, dude? It's great. It's cannon fodder. And even if the fucking CVSs are also closing in that region, again, it stems from the fact that the property the property's too expensive for upkeep, not because petty crime is occurring. Pharmacies and these sorts of storefronts close all the fucking time. They literally announced that they were going to close a fuckload of stores already. Walgreens did. What do they gain from this lie? Sympathy, a conversation that means that they're not doing a bad job, but it's simply like the government failing to protect them as they are supposed to, because the government is supposed to protect capital. So it's out of their hands that like rampant crime is the reason why they have to close down, not because like they didn't hit their fucking target, their target growth. Walgreens plans to close approximately 200 U.S. stores, the company announced in an SEC filing. According to a document posted Tuesday on Securities and Exchange Commission website, they moved the closed stores. A review of real estate footprint follows a review of the real estate footprint of the United States. So real estate is too expensive and they can't compete. They're closing down locations as they announced since 2019. That's weird because the brick and mortar is hard to makes it significantly harder to compete against like online stores. That's crazy. That's literally exactly what I said. But hey, what proof do I have, right? Anyway, let's keep going.
This is the Kamala defense, right? Well, I know he's shoplifting from Walgreens, but Big Pharma, I'm like, the two aren't connected.
Yeah.
He's not behind the pharmacy counter.
By the way, you guys are walking billboards for Big Pharma.
Yeah.
Okay? Two companies. And I'm not saying I'm not saying anything
Nothing bad.
anti-vaccine at all.
No.
But I'm saying you guys have no problem
video.
asking for mandates and passports with really only three companies, two that have a duopoly in the United States, with Moderna and Pfizer. I never want to hear from you or Stephen Colbert did a let's all go to the lobby with vaccinations by pharmaceutical name. Never again can you lecture me about Big Pharma. I don't care about your Kashtanga route or what you're doing with...
Wait, what? What does this have to do with what the fuck's going on? I'm so confused by this.
Ayurvedic medicine? No. When push came to shove, you guys became Quislings for two pharmaceutical companies. It's done. It's over. You're a lackey. Go home.
Wait, what is he talking about? Who the fuck is like repping pharmaceutical companies?
Now, these are other tweets justifying it regarding the Walgreens.
What does he mean? Please, someone explain to me what he's saying. He's saying that because people were pro-vaccination, that they were lackeys for Big Pharma. Is that what he's saying? Oh my God, that's actually too stupid to fucking understand. Oh my fucking God, dude. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. First of all, the mass inoculation campaign was literally socialized medicine, you fucking dingus, dude. You are so stupid. It was literally the one time that America engaged in an action that resembled socialized medicine or universal healthcare. What the fuck kind of take is this? Dude, Steven Crowder fans, like, they're too stupid. Actually, I don't know. I think, like, they probably will end up getting COVID at this point, and because they're definitely not vaccinated, they'll probably have long-term damages from it. But what are you gonna do? I can't get myself to feel bad about that.
CEO getting a $25 million bonus. If you're concerned about looting, I've got some news for you.
This fucking idiot literally said that mass vaccination campaigns is actually defending Big Pharma.
Oh well, there's a hot take. And then, of course, resident pile of garbage, Tariq Nasheed tweeted, this Walgreens situation is one of those see what happens when we don't let the police do their job and kill those N-words propaganda stories. Well, I believe you're paraphrasing because I wouldn't use that type of racist language, but the general sentiment, correct.
Yeah.
And also,
what? Yo, I can't believe he went there, dude. That's crazy. That is like, dude, he is so fucking racist, dude. He's a horrible person, dude. God damn, I thought hood rats was gonna be the most racially charged thing that he was gonna say. I was wrong, boys. Pack it up. He said, unironically, what this Walgreens situation is one of those see what happens when we don't let the police do their job and kill those N-words propaganda stories. And he said, I agree with that. Like, I agree. That is true. This is one of those stories. I don't agree with the usage of the N-words, but I do agree with that.
Words, propaganda stories. Well, I believe you're paraphrasing because I wouldn't use that type of racist language, but the general sentiment, correct.
I mean, he's saying like, yeah, no, the general sentiment of shooting those N-words he agrees with, just not the usage of the N-word, which, by the way, that is liberal aestheticism, like, to a T. As long as you don't say the N-word, like, nothing you say could be racist, ever perceived as racist. Even if what you're saying is literally like, you know, kill those black people. Like, is that an acceptable sentiment? No.
Yeah. And also, that's not what happened. He left on a bike with a trash bag.
He should actually, by the way, then you should get Steven Crowder to say, see what happens when we don't let the police do their job and kill those black people. Is that better? Like, I would ask Steven Crowder, like, hey, man, can you say that then? Can you say it without saying the N-word and saying black people instead? Would you be comfortable saying it? I mean, he literally did say it, but you know what I mean.
Bike with a trash bag
He
of
strolled
stuff.
away.
Yeah, having
Nobody
a cop
shot.
handcuff him is not this. Like, tell me the story where somebody who's been shoplifting and his behavior was like, officers, I'm sorry, I'll drop the goods, and was shot and killed. Tell me that story because I haven't read it yet. Right?
As far as I'm concerned, that man-bunned guy in the bomber jacket that looks like he was one of the guards in the Santa Claus when the elves tied him up with tinsel, that guy should have clotheslined this guy in the bicycle. Like, don't.
Why would someone who is literally urged not
With Monday.com's flexible management system, however,
I always thought being a writer. Well, that's working. Well, that's working.
No, get back to the way that you were. You're not as smart as you think you are. That's something you keep finding out. It's just the way that it
What you've done for me, the sacrifice you've made, can never be repaid.
Do you believe in magic?
This is my way to serve witches. We are now all of us.
After about 6